Welcome to another episode of Outside Shots. I am Saul Bookman, and joined as always by the one, the only, a little testy this morning, a little irritable, Eddie Johnson. Eddie, how's it going, buddy?
It's the first time in your life I look small next to you.
See what I mean? Like, we already started. As always, we brought to you by the good folks at OGs, which clearly EJ needs some OGs right now. He's feeling a little. I feel like you're in a dentist office somewhere in the Chicago area, or I don't even know where you're actually at in the country, to be honest with you. So I see you wearing your Cubs hat.
I'm in Chicago. I'm at my brother-in-law's home now. It's obviously both of their parents have passed away, so this is his home. I'm here hanging out in Chicago. That's what I'm doing. And the Cubs do play the Diamondbacks. That starts tomorrow, right? That series starts tomorrow?
Starts today.
Yeah, it starts today. We already took care of the Giants. That's right. Sent them back to San Francisco. And unfortunately, now I want Phoenix people to understand this. I like the Diamondbacks. Okay? I had season tickets for many years. So I was there when they won the World Series, when they came back on the Yankees. I think it was, game 6 or something like that, and then they kicked their butt. I was there. Okay? I was there for the first championship, the only championship. But when it comes to that right there, nobody takes their place. No one.
Okay.
Not even my family, because I'm watching Cubs for the next few days.
Okay. Are you going to go to the game?
No, matter of fact, I'm going to watch it on TV. I could have gotten tickets, but no. I'm going to head back to Phoenix here tomorrow and get ready for my Bears on Sunday.
Okay.
See, I could stay here and go to the Bears game, but I don't like going to football games live, especially for teams that I love, because you don't really see the game like you see it on TV. So I'd rather watch it on television.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's talk about shoes, man. Let's talk about shoes. Devin Booker's shoes dropped. Unofficially dropped. We got some sneak peeks at them over the last couple of days. These are the Havens. The black version of his shoe. There's an orange version as well, which we'll get to in a second. But Eddie, I don't know if you've seen this yet. What were your initial thoughts on what these shoes look like, and would you cop them?
Well, I'm not much of a shoe buyer. Recently, I've started to buy more Nikes and, buy, different shoes because I like to wear them with my suits because, heels are out now for guys that wear suits now. You can wear casual shoes with your suit. So I'm a little bit more collective on that. Put that picture back up again. I love my boy Book. Look like I can go bowling with those on.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of them either. I know a lot of people are, and hey, God bless them, but I just ain't one of them. The other night, EJ, we'll show you this clip. The other night, Devin Booker was at the Drake concert, and he got pulled out by Drake. But at some point, Drake goes to the stage, and if you look on his feet as he's walking up the stage, he's got the orange version of these shoes on, which have been all over social media as well. They're pretty dope. Obviously Drake and Book go way back to his Kentucky days. Again, orange. Apparently, allegedly, our guy Flex has told me that if you just gotta wait to see all the colors, because apparently the dynamic colors are coming, and that'll change your opinion of the shoe if you don't already like it as it is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I just don't like the combination of that shoe that you showed me. The orange shoes look good, right? So yeah, I'm going to get me some, and I'm not buying them either. I'm going to tell him to get them to me, because if he doesn't, then I'm going to rip him when he has a bad game. So trade off. Hey man, I've been protecting you for a lot of years, but if you don't give me all colors, size 15. I'm going to destroy you if you have a bad game. Yeah.
EJ, back in the day, back when you were in Chicago and in Cabrini Green and stuff like that, the shoe game wasn't necessarily up to where it ended up being like in the 80s and 90s, right? It was before your time. Am I correct on saying that?
Yeah, I mean, back in our day, you didn't have much of a choice, man. Like you had the Converse canvas. That's what you had. Canvas. That's why I say these dudes walk around and they just get injured like nothing. They supposed to be wearing these high tech shoes, and they spend more time on the bench because they sprain their ankle and all of that. I grew up wearing canvas All Stars, Chuck Taylors, and I'm telling you, man, I never had an issue. Never sprained my ankle in them, nothing like that. You get these high-fangled new shoes now, man, and they wearing them and they look good. But dudes always walking back to the locker room with turned ankles. So, for me personally, I will say this: like as a NBA player and as a college player, I never wore Nikes. I wore Nikes one time as a basketball player, and I sprained my ankle like twice, and I never sprained my ankle, and I just stopped wearing them. So I wore Pony when I first got in the league. I wore Adidas, and those were the shoes that I wore most of my career. When I went to Europe, I think I wore Nikes because I had no choice. But I was always afraid in them because I just never had good luck playing basketball in Nikes.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna put it on the shoe. Maybe it's just the way my foot is made, right? So that's why I tell guys, yeah, you can go for the money with the shoes, but you better make sure them damn shoes like are good for your feet. Because if your feet start bothering you, then that's gonna ruin your career. And I've seen many guys go for the high tech, shoes because they're getting paid to wear them, and they have all kind of foot problems. So for me, I'm more so telling guys, man, you wear what's comfortable, man, because that's your prize right there. If your feet are messed up, you can't play this game.
Yeah, well, I mean, Da kind of had that issue at first when he first got to the Suns. Those damn Pumas just weren't lining
Hmm.
up with his feet the right way, and he kept like kind of twisting his ankle, having foot issues. Got that
Yeah.
rectified now because he hasn't had that in a while. But yeah, like I totally agree with you. Actually, let's talk about shoes. Let's talk about you just talked about the canvas shoes, back in the day, the Chuck Taylors. But my favorite shoe of all time, basketball wise, on a court, and to this day I've never been able to find it. I don't know what style it was. I just, at the time I was a poor kid. I went to like, Factory 2U or Ross and I grabbed me a pair of Adidas that looked like the black Celtics Larry Bird versions, but they were the
Hmm.
Adidas version. They were the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn. I
Yeah.
dropped 45 in a summer league game with that. Like to this day, I wish I could find that shoe, but my favorite shoe of all time is obviously the Jordan 1s. You got to go with that because, you're a Chicago guy. You know what the Jordan 1s look like. They're the
Hmm.
classic Jordan version. And then right behind that, and I think this would surprise a lot of people, to me, I don't know why, but I really dig the Grant Hill Fila's way back in the day when Grant Hill came to
Hmm.
the league. He was the only one, I think the only one in the league that was repping Fila at the time, and still to this day probably is the only one that's ever repped Fila in the NBA. So
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, Michael Jordan shoes are probably the prettiest shoes that we've seen. Uh, and they put a lot of money and time into that as well. He always got first dibs on designs anyway. No matter how many players were signed up to Nike, he was always going to get first dibs. But his shoes were, they were aerodynamic when he first came out with them. The color scheme was always tremendous. So he's definitely got the prettiest shoes that we've seen. The best shoes, and you said it, is Adidas, man. I don't care. Adidas to me is the best basketball shoe ever because I'm talking about not just, its look is not going to jump out at you, but it's a beautiful look. The three lines on there, just the way they made them, but it's just the way they feel on your feet, man. I'm just telling you. And at one point in time, saw Adidas was not in the shoe game over here.
mhm.
They were more so based over in Europe, where they originated, and they weren't paying guys money. They'll give you the shoe. At one point in time, I was in the middle of not having a contract, and they'll give you the Adidas shoes all day long. Yeah, you can wear them, but we weren't paying you. That was their motto back in the day. Now, obviously, it's changed because they
Yeah.
pay very well to a lot of guys. But back when in the 80s and when in 90s when I was playing, they weren't willing to pay anything, but they'd give you a ton of merchandise. They'd give you as much merchandise as you wanted. wear their shoes. And I did. And I'm telling you, to me, I played my best basketball wearing those shoes.
Wow.
They're the
Okay.
most comfortable shoes, whether it's basketball, running, New Balance as well, in regards to a running shoe. Those shoes are the best for your feet. And I'll just tell parents this, like a part of the things in maturing your kid, especially if they're an athlete, you got to make sure that you don't let them escape your decision making too soon. And if you have an athlete, you got to make sure that he's wearing the shoes that actually fit their feet, and he can play in those, because if you don't, no matter how good they look, it could cut his career short. And for me, I was always a stickler for that, man. I'm like, look, man, I'm wearing shoes that's comfortable for me. I turned down money at one point in time from Nike and a couple other shoe companies to wear Adidas. I didn't care because I just knew, man, that those shoes weren't right for me. Like with Nikes, they used to sit up. They're better now, but they used to sit up on a heel. Like, it lift your heel up. Well, I had like semi flat feet. So they just never fit me right. And so yeah, it's all about the money though. And then we know for Devin, they're gonna make the shoe to fit his foot. But for the normal kid going in the shoe store to buy the shoes, they're not gonna do that for him.
Yeah, for
So
sure. For
I
sure.
tell people all the time, those shoes that the pros wear, those gloves, baseball gloves that they use, those balls that they use, those bats that they use, it ain't the same as the one you get in the store. you
Yeah, no.
know, they
Yeah.
don't last as longer. The pro shoes are double and triple stitched. You can wear them things, man. I used to be able to wear shoes for at least 15 games. There's no way on earth that a guy can do that now, or that just goes to buy the shoe out of the store. So you have to be careful when you're looking for shoes for your young athletes.
So you're saying you don't think NBA players, like if Devin Booker, because I know Devin Booker doesn't wear the same shoe every game, but you're saying that if he bought a shoe off the rack, that it wouldn't last more. He could not wear it 15 games.
No, no, it's not gonna last. No,
Wow, really?
not gonna
Wow.
last. No, come
You
on,
just
man, please. Well, that's not good marketing. Why would you make? That's the one thing about that's it's the one thing that's different in our country, and that's the part I don't like is that like for instance, like I went over to the Middle East. I went to Dubai, and they make things to last a lifetime. That's their motto, right? Like, but we, in a marketing sense, if we're making things last a lifetime, guess what? They're not gonna make any money.
yeah.
So why would they make a shoe to last longer than what it should? They're gonna make it last just long enough. Long enough. I'm not saying the Nike product isn't good, but it ain't matching what Devin is wearing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny.
So I mean, but that's understandable though. I mean, I'm not tripping on it. I mean, that's just a fact of life.
I feel you. I feel you. We got some people in the chat. Thanks to all you loyal followers. We appreciate you. Hello. Says that Converse did add a comfort sole, so that's cool. Perplex Damage said that when he was in high school, he was wearing the pennies. I love the penny Hardaways mostly
Yeah,
because
the pennies were nice.
they
Yeah.
had this. They have a sentimental effect for me because Mike Bibby wore the pennies in the national championship when they won the blue ones. They were nice little style there. Hello also says, is it weird that Team USA is sponsored by Nike and most players on the team rep Nike? I mean, you got to be oblivious to think that that's not a factor sometimes when it comes to these kind of
Heck
things.
yeah.
But
Yeah, it is.
talent will supersede a lot of that stuff, but not all that time. So
You remember when Adidas sponsored, I think, the Dream Team, and Jordan put a flag over the
Reebok,
logo.
Reebok,
Reebok. Yeah, and he
Reebok
put a
did. Yeah,
flag over the logo.
yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
so I mean, I understand that. You respect the brand that's paying you your money. It's loyalty. I had no problem with what Michael Jordan did.
Yeah,
It's
and
loyalty, man. Like that's just how I am. Period. I got the same pool guy that I've had since I moved to Phoenix over 30 plus years ago, and I've had three different houses I've lived in, and he's been my pool guy. Like my exterminator for many years until he retired was my exterminator. Like I am a loyal consumer. Like if you do me right, I am loyal to you. I had the same car dealer for like 20 years. Didn't matter. If I wanted a different car that he wasn't even making, he would go find that car for me. It's just like that's just the way I am in regards to being a consumer with my loyalty. And so I think a lot of players are like that, especially when they're getting a paycheck.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, you can be loyal to ogsbrands.com because they'll make you feel good too. So there you go. OG's Brands. Go to ogsbrands.com to find the closest dispensary to you. They are the best edible in the game. If you have not ever taken part in any edible, first of all, walk into any dispensary. I think if you've never been into a dispensary, you'd be amazed at the customer service, number one. I don't think I've ever
Hmm.
been into a dispensary where the customer service
They're
wasn't
all in a good mood.
they are all in a good mood, but they're so. You know what? The important part too is and this is a little bit of cannabis education, Eddie, is that they will educate you on the different strains, the brands, what they can do for you, what you're really looking for. Because some people they want something to kind of take the edge off anxiety wise. Some people, they want it for other reasons. And they will educate you on the different kind of things that you can
Hmm.
partake in, which is fantastic. And OG's Brands
Hmm.
is in the game, obviously, with that. They got the different strains in terms of indica and sativas. And then they got the Happy Balance and the RSO. So you can check them out at ogsbrands.com. And remember, you must be 21 and over to enjoy. So
What strain do I need to deal with you once a
you
week?
probably need an indica because you need to chill the fuck out sometimes. Especially this early in the morning.
I've been
It's too early to be this hype, Eddie.
It's 1 o'clock here, dude.
Hey, it's too early. It's too early. You gotta let
I'm
it set
hyped.
in.
Look, let me tell you something. When I wake up in the morning, so you understand, like when I wake up in the morning, I'm hyped because it's like, damn, I woke up. You know, so
I feel you.
it's a
I,
lot of people didn't wake up.
yeah, no, I feel you. I
Yeah.
feel
So
you.
when I open my eyes, I thank God. I'm like, okay, I got another day. I got another chance. That's just how I view it. So yeah, I'm not gonna let the day go.
I feel you.
No,
Okay.
you've never been around me and I haven't been hyped ever.
No, I don't think if you catch you at the right time after like a long day, after a game, maybe you're a little like, okay, I just want to go home, a little
Yeah, when I'm
tired.
leaving after the Suns game, I'm done because
Yeah.
you think about it. I've done a 3 hour show that day. I
Yeah.
probably played golf. Then I went home and did a 3 hour show. Then I
Mhm.
had to go, walk my walk to my station, and that means I got to greet probably 100 Suns fans. And then, yeah, I got to do the game. And then I got to leave again, and I got to greet another 50 to 100 Suns fans that's in my way as I'm going back to my car. And when I get in my car, yes, I'm done. Yeah, that's the time you don't want to see me.
Well, I listen. I do appreciate the time that you give us every week, and if you've ever caught like last year, we had a takeover, and I forced EJ to meet our people. Not forced him, he obliged. But you could see that, like, hey, we took a picture, Eddie, and you were like, I'm good. I just want, I'm, I'm good. I appreciate you all, people. Thank you very much, but I'm ready to go home. And so you hit that post game show and you were out. So I get it.
Hmm.
The World Cup. You've been watching the World Cup at all?
Not really, but I'm keeping up with it. Obviously, I got to do I've been hosting my radio show this week, so I got to, talk about it. I don't. Well, I haven't watched. To be honest with you, I don't watch a game all the way through. Uh, I just, first of all, you're getting up too early to watch it, and I forget that it's on. And I expect them to win. Like that's what I've always been like, especially since '92 with the Dream Team. I like once the pros have been added to the Olympics, I always expect them to win. Yes, it hasn't been the case; they have gotten beaten, but I've been paying attention to it. I've been reading up on it. I think Anthony Edwards has really made a marketing name even more for himself now. That's part of the reason why players like to play in the international competitions too, because they can expose themselves globally, and all of a sudden they're picking up more marketing opportunities. And I think Anthony Edwards has really shown his personality and the kind of player that he is. And I think he has really elevated himself. Austin Reeves the same way. Let's just put it where it is and be honest. It's not many white Americans playing in the NBA.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and that's okay. I mean, look, there's not many African Americans playing hockey. Okay, there's not many African Americans playing baseball.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. But Austin Reeves is really putting himself in a pristine position. And
Yeah.
I've always told like white athletes this. It's like, you know, if you really love basketball and you're committed, you will leave this game with a ton of money. Because it's, it's the way it should be. Like I know. I mean, it's like, and sometimes people get a little unnerved by hearing stuff like this. Like when white fans are very appreciative of a guy. It could be a white guy that's at the end of the bench and they're cheering to put him in and they're really supporting him. Why not? I mean, that's what we've been saying historically. Like growing up in the inner city of Chicago as an African American kid, what really gave me like motivation to want to go out and succeed was watching Martin Luther King lead, was watching Malcolm X, regardless whether you agree with him or not, lead, watching Jesse Jackson lead from a political standpoint, watching Hank Aaron play baseball. What like, oh man, I want to be a baseball player. There's a guy that looks like me. Oh, I want to fly a plane. Man, there's a guy that he's flying a plane and he looks like me, or a school teacher. Like, that's what you grab onto. Like, that's why I have an issue, man. I'm not going to try to get too political, but that's why I have an issue with any politician that wants to cut out history. Like, that want to cut out history? Are you kidding me? Like, you cut out history, you're taking away from the ability to make decisions as a young kid. And it just bothers me. So for me, man, I enjoy when I see guys like Austin Reeves take advantage of his position in life. And all of a sudden now as a basketball player, he's making 50 plus million. He's probably going to probably elevate to maybe 5 to 10 million a year in endorsements. Like I applaud him for taking advantage of what he has. And I just wish everybody had that opportunity on an equal basis.
Yeah, I think Austin Reeves has definitely made a name for himself. I agree with you with Anthony Edwards. I think he has definitely made it known that he has arrived and he is willing to take that next step. He's been the go-to guy for Team USA
Uh-huh.
this entire World Cup. The other one I would throw in there is Mikal Bridges. I think Mikal Bridges has. I mean, he was already starting to make a name for himself outside of Phoenix. We all know how everybody feels
Right.
about Mikal here in Phoenix, but nationally, he was starting to gain some traction towards the end of the season with the Nets. And now on the World Cup stage, he's been one of their other go-to guys. I think he had 24 the other night to lead them in a win over Italy. What I'm really hoping for, and today was kind of a result that benefits this, U.S. versus Canada is the matchup that everybody wants to watch, everybody wants to see. Both of those squads are loaded with talent. Canada has been phenomenal. Dylan Brooks has been the he's played better than he did in the NBA last year, and he's been every bit the benefactor of a little bit of time, a little reassessment, and he's played well. But you have other guys like R.J. Barrett, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, so on and so forth. Like they have just been phenomenal to watch. But Team USA, they have one more game semifinal before they could possibly meet up with Canada in the championship, and hopefully that happens because everybody wants
Well,
to see that.
yeah, what a home run like for the North American continent, right? That's
Yeah,
how I look at it.
yeah.
It's like what a home run to be able to represent and go against each other. Yeah, that's not gonna be an easy game. Like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I would probably first of all, I think Oklahoma City is going to be a playoff team this year, and they have to me the ability to get the sixth seed. That's how good I think they're going to be. It all
I
depends
believe
on
that too.
how
I've
quickly
I've been on the OKC train this entire time. Like
Mhm.
I believe OKC is going to be legitimate this year.
They are. And Chet Holmgren is what I expect him to be because I think he's going to be a tremendous player. They're going to be a problem. They have some serious talent on that team. And I'd be shocked in about 2, 3 years if they're not winning championships, if they keep that together. Now, Sam Presti has had a hard time keeping his stars together, as we've seen with Harden leaving and then KD leaving and Westbrook leaving. They had Paul George, he left. So If they can figure out how to keep their top players, they'll be fine. But Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, in my estimation, will probably be a top three or top four MVP candidate again this year. There's nothing that he can't do, and they're going to have an issue with him because the Americans, you got to understand, they're sharing the ball. Like, it's one thing to have a lot of talent, but then you're sharing it, right? And so with Canada, what their hierarchy is. It's Shea Gilgis and then it's everybody else. And because of that, they have more continuity. And in any given game, that's dangerous. That is dangerous. When you have a bunch of guys that feel like, oh, I can make the shot, I can make the shot. And then you got the guy on the other side that's saying, no, no, I'm going to take the shots. And they're going to rally around me and do what they need to do. For a one game situation, that's extremely dangerous. And so the U.S. is going to have their work cut out for them, without a doubt. They got their work cut out for them playing Germany. That's
Yeah.
not going to be an easy out.
Yeah.
Okay, you got them Wagner brothers on there. They ain't no joke. Okay, and Dennis Schroeder is a major problem. They got Daniel Tice on there, so they got NBA players. So can't look past Germany. And then if they do wind up playing Canada, that is going to be a difficult game.
Yeah, for sure. One team that they will not have to play is Slovenia, and that's because Luka is out. Luka was a little salty today, though. I don't know if you saw this, but he was a little salty because he felt like the refs were giving Dylan Brooks a little bit more than they should have. Take a listen.
The referee told one of the guys, we're not going to call a foul on him because he's coming at us. I think this is not fair. I know I complain a lot, but I don't think it's fair.
Come on, Luka. Like, it's funny for somebody who complains all the time in these games. He sure likes to play the victim from time to time. And this, come on, man, like really, I'm just,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
I
over it.
got you. I got you. I got you. Look, Luca is very. I don't know what it is with him. First of all, he's probably the most talented player over there. Okay, the
Mhm.
dude is an unreal
Yeah,
basketball player.
1,000,000%.
He's an unreal dominant basketball player. The problem with him, and he's going to have to understand this. I play with a lot of great players. His major problem right now is one, he whines too much. And he whines too much publicly. See, like it's almost like being a poker player. Like you can't show your hand. He shows his hand too much. And the hand that he's showing is that you can get under his skin. And that's what Dylan Brooks did. Like, and it happens to him time and time again. And not only did Dylan Brooks get under his skin, I think authority gets under his skin. And that's not good. And that's never been addressed with Luca. Like, it's been addressed with Draymond. Like, some guys just don't like authority. They don't like Rasheed Wallace was like that. Like Rasheed Wallace could not ever give in to the thought that officials had control over him. And I think as an athlete, you got to understand that, you can't beat that. Like James Harden refused to tell Adam Silver that he would accept his way to the All-Star game last year. And then Adam Silver finally said, forget it, and gave it to somebody else. James Harden called back, said, no, it's too late. Like, a lot of guys think they supposed to have authority over guys that have authority in that situation. And Luca is a prime example, man. And Dallas needs to get a hold of him with this because he's going to cost them. Like I did something on my show yesterday, Sirius XM NBA Radio every day, 1 to 4 Pacific time. I said, is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander a better winner than Luca? Right? I mean, think about it. Is he a better winner? Even though Luca's gone further in the playoffs, but is Shea Gilgeous eventually going to be a better winner than Luca? I think he will.
Yeah.
Like I think he will. And it's not that you can argue that might not be better than him, but to me, it's like apples and oranges. They're both dominant. They both get to the free throw line. They both can score. They both got size. They both attack the rim. They can score from outside. It's just nothing that they don't have. But I think what Shea Gilgeous has is a demeanor that is going to promote him among officials. He's going to get more calls. He's going to be more. They're going to be more lenient toward him. And with Luka, they're going to grow tired of him. And I think that's part of his problem. And if I was his teammate, I would just try to get him to understand it. The world is not yours. You're not Scarface, dude. You know what happened to Scarface at the end, Luka? They shot him up. Okay? All right. New Jack City. Wesley Snipes thought he got off. Old dude on the block. Put him away with a 22. Okay? So
Oh man.
you're not gonna win, man. You're not gonna win. The NBA will go on without you. Officials will go on without you, dude. Just stop fighting them, man. It's just a waste of time.
My man bringing out the classics today, man. I haven't heard of New Jack City in a minute. Wow. Rockabye Baby. There we go.
Rockabye baby.
I love it. I love it. That's Eddie Johnson. That's another episode of Outside Shots. That's it for us today. You can visit us again next week as we come back. It'll be at 8:30 next week. I promise you all that. Eddie's coming back to town, so no more vacation for him. Enjoy the games. I hope they lose every single one, but I hope you enjoy them until they lose. You can follow Eddie Johnson at JumpShot8 on Twitter. You can follow me at Saul_Bookman on Twitter. And you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. As always, we'll see you next week.